What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Big Markets Think Simple. You've been hearing about ChatGPT and AI constantly, right? By now, it's common knowledge that companies like NVIDIA, Micron, and Samsung are making a killing on GPUs and semiconductors. But there's another place where serious money has been quietly flowing: transformers. And right at the center of that wave is Hyosung Heavy Industries, a company founded in 1962, quietly building transformers for over 60 years. And this year alone, its stock has jumped nearly 800%. That's not a coincidence. Wait, what do AI and transformers even have to do with each other? That's exactly the question we're unpacking today. Let's get into why this unglamorous company suddenly finds itself at the heart of global tech. Let's go. This video is not investment advice. It's for educational, entertainment, informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research before making any investment decisions. Any investment decisions are your own responsibility. So what exactly is a transformer, and why is everyone losing their minds over it? Here's the simple version. Electricity is generated at power plants, but if you try to send it long distances as is, most of it bleeds off and disappears along the way. So near the plant, the voltage gets cranked way up, think 765 kV, and sent along a kind of electrical highway. Then, closer to where people actually live and work, the voltage has to be stepped back down to safe levels. The device that handles all that, raising and lowering electrical pressure on demand, is a transformer. So what does AI have to do with all that? Simple. AI consumes an almost absurd amount of electricity. Inside a data center built for AI, thousands upon thousands of servers run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And because all that computing generates enormous heat, the cooling systems, fans, chillers, the works, run just as hard. Servers need power, cooling needs power, backup systems need power. The whole thing is basically one giant electricity vacuum. A single large data center can consume as much electricity as a mid-sized city. Here's the real problem, though. Even if you can generate that electricity, getting it to the data center is a different story. The grid, especially in the US, is aging out. A significant portion of America's large power transformers are decades-old equipment running well past their prime. It's like trying to push a fire hose through old, narrowed pipes. Something's got to give. So the demand for powerful new high-voltage transformers is urgent and growing fast. Okay, so demand is through the roof and supply is tight, got it. But why is a Korean company the one getting all the attention? Two specific advantages that competitors can't easily replicate. First, 765 kV ultra-high voltage technology. To send electricity over long distances, you need that high voltage highway. And to handle the highest capacity lines, the ones carrying the most critical loads, you need 765 kV transformers. These units operate under hundreds of thousands of volts, continuously, around the clock. One failure can trigger massive blackouts. The technical bar is extremely high. Only a handful of companies in the world can reliably build at this level. Hyosung developed Korea's first 765 kV transformer back in 1992 and has been refining that capability ever since. In the US, 765 kV is a critical voltage tier, and Hyosung has built up a track record there. American utilities know them. They're seen as a proven, trusted partner at the top end of the market. Second, and arguably more important, is their manufacturing plant in Memphis, Tennessee. In 2020, just before COVID hit, Hyosung secured an ultra-high voltage transformer factory in Memphis. That turned out to be a pivotal move. Why? Because the U.S. government has been aggressively pushing Buy American policies, prioritizing domestically produced goods in procurement decisions. That puts foreign manufactured equipment at a serious disadvantage. While competitors are shipping transformers across the Pacific from Korea, Hyosung is building them on American soil and delivering them directly. Faster lead times, lower tariff exposure, and a compelling answer to Buy American requirements. It's an easy call for customers. The result? Orders are backlogged well into 2027, and the company is investing an additional $160 million to expand production capacity by more than 50% by 2028. These two things, leading 765 kV technology and a U.S. manufacturing footprint, fit together perfectly. The result is a #1 market position in the U.S. 765 kV segment and dominant share of the Korean ultra-high voltage market. So how does all of this show up in the actual numbers? The 2025 financials for Hyosung Heavy Industries were genuinely striking. Consolidated revenue came in at approximately $4.3 billion USD, up 21.9% year over year. But the operating profit tells an even bigger story. At roughly $537 million USD, it more than doubled, up 106%. Operating margin climbed to 12.5%. Revenue grew fast, profits grew even faster. The shift in business mix explains why. Previously, lower margin products were a bigger part of the picture. Now, ultra-high voltage transformers and circuit breakers, the heavy industry segment, dominate. That segment accounts for 69.5% of total revenue and generates roughly 90% of total operating profit. The operating margin within heavy industries hit 16.2%. For manufacturing, that's a strong number. Construction, meanwhile, makes up about 30% of revenue, but contributes only about 10% of operating profit. It used to anchor the company. Now it's the power equipment business that's clearly driving growth. And the forward visibility looks solid. The company is sitting on an order backlog exceeding roughly $10.8 billion USD, about 2 to 3 years of revenue at the current run rate. Close to 60% of that backlog is ultra-high voltage transformers, which carry the highest margins. The pipeline is full of the right kind of work. So can Hyosung Heavy Industries keep this up? Honestly, there are real risks worth watching. First, the construction segment. It's a smaller part of the business now, but still 30% of revenue. Construction is sensitive to real estate cycles, pre-sale conditions, and raw material costs. An unexpected loss there could eat into profits the heavy industry side is working hard to generate. It's probably not enough to derail the company, but it's a variable that doesn't go away. Second, competition. Companies like HD Hyundai Electric, Siemens, Hitachi, and GE all know this market is attractive. Right now, the supply shortage gives Hyosung pricing power, but if competitors expand capacity meaningfully, that supply-demand imbalance could ease. When it does, sustaining today's margins will be harder. Third, raw materials and tariff exposure. Ultra-high voltage transformers require significant amounts of copper, electrical steel, and specialty insulating oil. If those prices rise, or if U.S. trade policy shifts in an unfavorable direction, costs go up. Right now, strong demand allows for some pass-through, but that's not guaranteed if conditions change. Hyosung is clearly a major beneficiary of the AI era could bottleneck, but sustaining these expectations requires the backlog to convert into actual revenue and earnings, and for margins to hold at reasonable levels. The central question is this: how long does the transformer supercycle last? The answer to that will define the next few years for this company. In 1962, a Korean company started making transformers. No fanfare, no headlines, just building year after year. 154 kV, then 345 kV, then 765 kV. First in Korea, first in Korea, first in Korea. 60 years went by. Then, in the 2020s, AI started reshaping the world, and quietly, unexpectedly, those 60 years started to matter. AI thinks because of GPUs and semiconductors, but before AI can think, it needs electricity, and in the path that electricity travels, there's a transformer. The quietest, most unglamorous beneficiary of the AI era, Hyosung Heavy Industries. Thanks for watching. Subscribing and liking the channel goes a long way in helping us keep making content like this.